Women are very special creatures from God and they are unique in their ways.
Women are very sensitive beings. We could detect the slightest change in any environment we find ourselves in.
So today on To the Ladies, we'll be talking about the stigma associated with teenage pregnancy. First of all, I would like to define who a teenager is and what teenage pregnancy means. A teenager is a person who is within the age of 13 to 19, and teen pregnancy means getting pregnant between the age of 13 to 19. So today we'll be looking at the social effects of teenage pregnancy on the individual. Teenage pregnancy should not be totally blamed on the ladies, because we forget the fact that the result of teenage pregnancy is a decision made by two people. Most times we forget the guy involved in this, and the guy moves on with his life. The lady here is who is affected, because she witnessed a decline in every aspect of her life, while the guy lives as if nothing happened most times.
On the effects of stigma associated with teenage pregnancy. Firstly, it brings about low self-esteem on the side of the individual. Most of these ladies suffer from low self-esteem because they are the carriers of the result of premarital sex, and this is actually seen as something that is not accepted morally in the society. So you could also relate with me, because many of the time we see people, when we see pregnant ladies without a ring on their fingers, we point fingers at them and call them all sorts of names. I actually did this for some time ago when I was very, very young. There was this lady that used to live beside our house, and because we know biblically people are not supposed to get pregnant without getting married, so I saw her as someone that was irresponsible. Now these people begin to suffer from low self-esteem because they are unloved. Many people in the society begin to point fingers at them and call them all sorts of names, forgetting the fact that they were not the only ones involved in such actions, in the action leading to the pregnancy. The guy, on the other hand, is free to move on with his life. Many people don't recognize the fact that the girl did not get herself pregnant, but she's blamed because she carries the evidence of immorality. Now, we could also try to help cut down this normal trend, because consequently the child that comes as a result of this pregnancy suffers from low self-esteem too. You begin to notice that in class and in every other activity they begin to dissociate themselves from people. They prefer to stay alone because they grew up unloved. Many of them begin to have low self-esteem too in the side of the children. This will lead me to my next point, where many of these parents or many of these girls that get pregnant, maybe at the age of 13 to 19, when they get pregnant and finally give birth to the babies, those are the ones that decide to even give birth to these children. When they give birth to the babies, most of them wrap the babies in shell and put them in carton and dump them at very alarming corners of the world, of the country. About last week or last 2 weeks, I saw something online where a lady that just gave birth to a baby. The lady was about 16 years at that time, and the baby was just born. Like, she wrapped the baby in a shell and put the baby. Yes, well, the baby was covered up in a shell. It was still covered up in the blood. Like you saw it too. And she wrapped the baby in a shell. Put the baby. It was a boy. She put him in a box, like what is biscuit carton, and dropped him by the side of the road. So while she was going, some people saw what was happening. Some people that were watching her saw what was happening and quickly went to catch her because she was like, she was almost mad at that time. That was the effect it had on her. Now we are going to be looking at the effect it will have on the child too. This woman, when she was interviewed, actually opened up and said she suffered a lot of insults, a lot of rejection, and she suffered from both in the church, in the environment, in school, in everywhere. She couldn't go to school anymore. Her parents were not happy. They almost disowned her, even because of the help of the family members that came to plead on her behalf. So now imagine this child now was dumped there and nobody was able to rescue him from losing his mom at that point. What would have been of this child? Like, what would have happened to this child? Okay, he would have probably grown in the orphanage where he would have had little or no food to eat.
Maybe among those
gangsters and people that, who knows, but it only takes the grace of God to rescue such children and help them grow well, because they don't have the love of a mother, neither do they have the love of a father. They are only brought up by people that actually see a future in them. There's no parental love in it. And also, many of these teenage people that get pregnant, many of them stand a chance of losing their education. Like, they do not go to school. Even for those ones that have very considerate parents that will still want to train them, many of the unlucky ones do not go to school again, because African parents are they have very, very low tolerating spirits. They won't tolerate nonsense from you. You can't come back, they send you to school, and maybe you're in the university or the secondary school and you come back with a baby.
That's not my dad will kill you.
Yes, it's going to kill you. So many of them do not go to school, they do not further their education again. So imagine somebody that is pregnant, she gives birth to the baby, she's not in school, her parents have rejected her, she has no source of income. How is she going to take care of this child? How is she going to take care of it? That is why many of these children grow up and start causing several things in the society. Many of them become armed robbers, thieves, pickpockets, and do all sorts of things.
Let's go on a short break, and when we come back, we'll be looking at the preventive measures. Welcome back. Now we'll be talking about preventive measures. You all will agree with me that if there is no teenage pregnancy, there will be no stigma. So the first preventive measure will be abstinence. We should try as much as possible to abstain from premarital sex. Even the Bible talks against sex before marriage.
Secondly, if you must have sex, make sure to protect yourself. There are many contraceptives in many pharmaceutical stores around. You could also get You could also get a condom to help protect yourself from getting pregnant and also from contacting other sexually transmitted infections. I also want to make mention that many of the teenage pregnancies around are not as a result of premarital sex. Some of them are as a result of rape. So please stay away from very quiet, dark places. If you must walk around, make sure you walk in company of people that you know you trust. Do not walk out at night. Thank you.
So that will be all on to the ladies today. To air your comment, you can visit our social media platform on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or visit our website at www.remotv.com.ng. I still remain Hannah Oga.
And I'm Favor Oga.